president's comments in this address to a noble. He refers to his predecessor watching the events of January 6th unfold from the private dining room, saying he didn't have the courage to act. I wonder if this is the most specific and the most forceful we've heard President Biden speak about his predecessor's conduct on January 6th, and I wonder if this is an indication of a change in posture. Would the president be bringing this kind of contrast more to the fore in the coming months?
So the president has been, pretty in the past several months has said that the former president bears responsibility on the insurrection. And I think what you saw today was the president making that comparison. First of all, thanking the law enforcement for what they do, officers for what they do. Remember, he was speaking in front of black law enforcement who are in Orlando, and he wanted to take the time to thank them. Because if you think about it, we ask our law enforcement to go out there and protect our streets. On January 6th in 2020, we asked law enforcement, or they had to protect our democracy. And so, the former president had a choice to make. The choice was, do you stand on the side of our law enforcement, or do you stand on the side of the mob? And we know his actions speak for himself, where the former president stood. I do want to pull out a little bit of what he said, because this is incredibly powerful, what the president said. So the Capitol Police, the D.C. Metro Police, and the law enforcement were attacked and assaulted. They were speared, they were sprayed, they were stomped on, they were brutalized, and lives were lost. And after 3 hours, the defeated former president of the United States watched it happen. As he sat in the comfort of his private dining room next to the Oval Office, brave law enforcement were subjected to medieval hell for 3 hours. And so that's what the president wanted to make sure that he put out there, dripping in blood, surrounded by carnage, face to face with crazed mob that believed the lies of the defeated president. So the former president bears responsibility for that. And also in the speech, I want to add is that you heard the president also make a contrast with the two senators in Florida. We talk about, you hear politicians talk about how they're on the side of law enforcement officers. But then you have these two senators in Florida who do the complete opposite of that. And a lot of that, if you look at the American Rescue Plan, which no Republican voted for, it had $350 billion to go to states to really help states with public safety. And so that's the contrast the president wanted to make, and he wanted to make sure he did that in front of the law enforcement officers who were there.
Some of the details he's drawing upon there echo what we have heard in the January 6th committee's hearings. Has the president also had any sort of briefings from Justice Department officials about the state of any investigations they might be undertaking?
So, as we've said many times here, as the president has said, the Department of Justice is an independent agency, especially as it comes to legal decisions and issues. So he leaves that on the Department of Justice. That's not something that we're going to comment. Again, they are independent when it comes to legal matters, and we leave that to them.
President Trump.
Go ahead. I promised that I would get back to you.
So as you know, the former president is giving a speech tomorrow here in D.C., his first public speech in D.C. since he left office. I'm just wondering if the White House is tracking that, listening to some of his policy recommendations, especially since, as you know, a lot of Americans might side with the former president and feel, kinship with him or agree with those policy recommendations. Are you guys keeping an eye on it?
So it's not something that I'm tracking or we're tracking here. I don't know what he's coming to talk about. I guess we'll see when he gets here tomorrow.